Welcome to the Wander Mode podcast, where we celebrate the fearless spirit of women embracing life's wanderings. Where every story is a spark of inspiration and reminds us that sometimes the most beautiful moments happen when we simply embrace wherever the journey may lead. This is our third podcast with Paula, and we've created this series sort of unintentionally. It didn't start as a series, but it made sense as a series to really talk about our intuition. And on our second podcast, we talked about the reasons why we, as adult women in midlife, approaching midlife, why we've stopped listening to our intuition. And although I love exploring the whys behind things, I think it's also important to discuss the so now what? Once you're aware of something, what do you do? And is it a one-time band-aid? Is it a constant effort? Is it adopting a new practice in life? And so that's what we're going to talk about with Paula today. So thanks, Paula, for coming back to talk about the now what?
So now what? Yeah, I'm not crazy. It's not just this other voice in my head. However, that voice, for as many years as maybe you've been kind of pushing it down, it might sound kind of quiet. It might be a little nudge. It might be a flare up. It might be a rash. It might be something that is a trigger that keeps happening all the time. And you're like, why am I so triggered by this thing? It could be a person. It could be any of these things that we're like, oh, why does this thing keep happening?
So then what are our options when we've recognized that this is something that we need to work on? Because we all would say, well, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for self-care. I don't have time to do this 10-minute meditation practice. But once you recognize that there's an issue, what are the things that we can start doing differently to start bringing new habits into our lives so that it isn't something that we necessarily have to think about? It becomes a lot more automatic.
And it can be simple or it can be more complex. Like as soon as you wake up in the morning, just open your eyes and what am I grateful for today? Just connect to like your heart before you put your feet on the floor. Visualize your day. What do I feel I want to do today? You might have a list of 20 things. You know you're not going to get them all done. You know you're going to get 3 done. So why would we stress ourselves out trying to tick off the boxes? What would feel really good for me to do, whether that was to just make it to my son's baseball game, or whether that was to record a podcast or connect with somebody. One of my teachers, Mary Thompson, says it's just islands of serenity throughout your day. And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes we'll have resistance because we're so not used to doing it. So give yourself these little moments throughout the day. And you have to make it intentional. So we have to be in our bodies, like our soul, our heart, our intuition. It's everywhere, but it lives in our chest, in our belly, in our center, right? But I mean, making these little points throughout the day, maybe it's before you pick the kids up, like sit in your car and carpool and just take 10 deep breaths and ask yourself, inner voice, hi, just checking in. How are you doing today? Am I listening to you? Create a dialogue. Just these simple little things that we can do. Roll out of bed and sit on the floor for 2 minutes. This is one thing I teach for people learning how to meditate who have never had a meditation practice. It's called Kaizen. It's like baby steps. It's like the 1%. Lay down and be awake, 10 breaths. And then next week, sit up in your bed. And then the next week, roll out of your bed and sit on the floor. Have a cushion there. Just notice your thoughts. Go, oh, I see you. There you are. Okay, got the list going. Where's the call? Okay, hi. Come back to my breath. Because your breath brings you right into the present moment. It can't be back there and it can't be in the next moment. Your breath is what is happening right now. This is meditation. It's the most fundamental, basic meditation is come back to your body. Come back to your body. It's like when you train a puppy, you put it on the paper and it runs away and it pees on the other side of the room. You put it back on the paper and it pees on the other side. We lovingly put the puppy back. Eventually the puppy goes, oh, this is where I pee, is on the pee pad. But that's how we learn, not by forcing things, not by going, oh, if I get it, yay for me. If I don't, oh, bad me. Like, no, we have to work these new muscles. We have to take time. We have to be gentle. And that in itself can be really hard for a lot of people because we're often the hardest on ourselves. That in itself is a habit that we've established somewhere along the line. You know, when I think about this conversation and I look at us as a spiritual being, we're not just that. If I could draw it for you, I would. A little circle, a circle around that circle, a bigger circle, 5 big circles inside each other, like those little Russian dolls that you can pull out, but they don't
Mm-hmm.
disconnect. We're 5 bodies. We're this body, we're like the physical body that we feed, the food body. We are the energetic body, the prana, the life force, our energy body. Inside of that is the emotional, mental body. That's our feelings. Inside that is our intuition. It's like the intuitive body. And then inside that is bliss, it's soul. So sometimes people have a really hard time accessing intuition because their body is toxic or the body is sick. So the easiest part is exercise, taking care of our physical body, living in a healthy vessel, feeding this body good foods, seasonal foods. And listen, not everybody can have seasonal, organic, fresh produce all the time, but we can do little things. We can make choices. So having a healthy body, and then that prana body is like, how do we connect our energy? Are we moving? Are we breathing? Is our energy strong and vibrant? Mental body is like, what are we doing for our mental body? Are we meditating? Other therapies, whether it's Reiki or massage, is great for the physical body too, but it's also good for the emotional body, hands on. It's energy being moved. Spiritual body, intuition, that could be like simply having a journaling practice in the morning. Ask yourself, what do I need to know today? Inner voice, what is going on with me? Or present a problem like, I'm having this issue at work and I think I need to do this thing, but what feels right? And then if you're doing a journaling practice, light a candle, make a nice space. If you have a meditation, like make your space sacred. Put a pillow down, create a little altar, put a picture of your grandparents or something that you love that's a beautiful crystal, or pictures of your kids. It's not a playground for the kids, it's your space, right? Having these little spaces that we can go to are also these little islands of serenity that we can just take a moment to drop in, whether it is just a minute or an hour. We
Yeah.
can go sit in our space. We can put a warm blanket on. We can put oil on our feet and rub our feet. Like self massage is another big one I teach. Abhyanga, using your own hands to heal. We'll outsource it. We'll go spend $100 on a massage. And we don't touch ourselves. We don't heal ourselves. We don't feel our own creaks and issues and pains. Like get in there, feel yourself. That's connecting back to our body, right? And I know sometimes there can be a lot of layers to that. Like some people have had trauma around touch. So start with rubbing just your hand, rub your temples, connect to yourself. So there's so many of these little things that we can do to just bring ourselves back home to ourselves.
Mhm.
We just have to take the time. I mean, good God, we take the time to sit and watch TV. You know what I mean?
Um,
Often people say, I don't have time. I'm like, if you were to actually log what you do throughout your day and where we spend time scrolling,
oh yeah.
I mean, that time can go by. Suddenly you're like 30 minutes in and you just bought a new handbag. You're like, what just happened?
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's not just that, it's also expensive. We spend time watching our favorite Netflix shows. We spend time having a drink and checking out and going, what did I do last night? Oh, whatever. I just needed to numb out. Valuable time that we could actually be doing something good for ourselves. And my whole thing is like, when we're doing stuff good for us, there's a ripple effect. This is all about what we're talking about, right? The importance
Yeah.
of listening to our intuition, taking care of our bodies, taking care of our 5 bodies that give us access when we're feeling healthy and vibrant, we're connected, we feel energized and we're inspired. It's the energetic body. We're motivated. We're like, life is good, right? And then our mind is clear and we're giving it breaks and we're feeding ourselves well and everything impacts everything. Now it's like, oh, I have more access to my intuition. I'm not riddled with a fog, or in
Mhm.
Ayurveda, it's ama, it's undigested toxins. But like, it takes work. Being a human being and living a full, happy life, we don't just phone it in. Like, it's awareness. And it's harder nowadays in just our modern world. So we have to carve out time. We have to learn to say no. We have to create boundaries. But we've been taught to be people pleasers. We've been taught that our value is based on how much we do, how much we make, all the other people that we please makes us feel good about ourselves, but we're maybe not pleasing ourselves. It's a ball of twine, isn't it?
It's so funny how when you start to make the small changes, you feel better in all these little ways, and it makes you want to seek out that feeling more. And so
Yes.
then you do more and you find more time to prioritize that, which
Yes.
then leads you to feeling better, which then just like you said, it is that ball of twine. It's a ripple effect. It
Yeah.
starts with just one small thing. And I think often we make the mistake, oh, well, I need to get back to exercising. So I have to find 30 to 40 minutes to be able to fit in this high level of exercise. No, 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 no. Don't start there, right?
No, right.
It's 5 minutes while your kid is taking a bath, and stand next to the bathtub and start doing stretches
Yeah.
or do 5 jumping jacks or do 5
Yes.
push-ups, and then those are gonna make you feel just a little bit better doing that, so then it's like, "Oh, maybe tomorrow I could find 10 minutes," because you'll
Yeah.
always find time for the things that make you feel better. You will
Yeah.
always find time for the things that matter to you, but right now those things don't matter
Right.
because it's easier to do the tuning out. It's easier to do the
Yeah.
doom scrolling. It's easier to watch the TV episode. It's easier to numb with a glass of wine. That feels easier, but you're
Right.
actually layering on harder and harder things versus starting with the small things to do the good
Totally.
habits.
Yeah. I mean, we all have habits, right? We have good habits and we have bad habits. So those
Mhm.
habits are just what we do, what's on repeat. So just like you said, we start small. And in Ayurveda, the thing is like increases like. So it's the more we do something, the more we do something. The more we drink the wine, the more we crave the wine. The more of a dopamine hit we get. Our brain goes, yes, this makes me feel good. And so then we crave it next time when the trigger of stress happens, and we open another bottle or pour another cup of coffee because it gives us something. So, like you said, we start small. There's always some place to start. You
Yeah.
implement, you learn, you experiment, you get curious, you try it again, then you come back again, and then you deepen what you practice and maybe try something a little bit different. It really is about these habits because our daily habits create our weeks create our months create our year, and our years create our life, right?
Yes.
We just need to get the machine moving.
Yep.
And then on the other end, there's a lot of people that are, well, I do all these things. I exercise 2 hours a day and I eat all the right things. And sometimes it's like, okay, that's great, but is it sustainable? People go, oh, I'm going to train for a marathon. Great. Are you going to train for the marathon or are you going to become a marathoner? That's a lifestyle, that's an identity. So when we start talking about our identity, like who am I? Who do I want to be? If I want to be a runner, I don't just hit the ground and train for the marathon and then I do the marathon and I'm done. No, do I want to be a runner? If I'm going to be a runner, I'm going to set the schedule. I'm going to change my diet maybe a little bit. I'm going to get the right shoes. I'm going to take on the identity of a person who runs marathons. So what are the habits that that person has?
Yeah, and that's so powerful that you're saying that too because I think we often get a little lost as well once we're doing the things
Hmm.
of, well, I am doing the thing. I am exercising 2 hours. I am eating all the right things, but it all still has to connect going back to the 5 bodies. You
Yeah.
can be taking care of the external body through good food and exercise. Your physical body is in great shape and you're putting
Yeah.
a lot of effort into that part, but are you actually internalizing what it
Yes.
is that you're doing and allowing that to hit all the other parts of the body as well? They all impact each other. So you have to be thoughtful about the different things. Do you
Yeah.
really need to be spending 2 hours exercising?
Yeah.
Or might it actually be more beneficial for you to spend an hour exercising and then an hour, maybe you're still sitting in a yoga studio in your gym, but you have your mala beads or you're doing some meditation or
Yeah.
you're doing some sort of spiritual practice to then get connected with that intuition again because you're still stressed out even though you're running for 2 hours.
The emphasis these days and always on the physical, right? On
Mhm.
what we can see. I mean, my God, look at all the filters, look at all the stuff that we can completely misrepresent ourselves and what teenagers are doing to look a certain way. Like that's how I'm supposed to look, flawless and perfect and big lips and rail thin. And that really fires me up. My 13-year-old son, he's a little on the smaller side. So this is boys too. He's a
Oh,
soccer
yeah.
player. He's fast and he's furious and he's feisty. He's one of the best players on their team. But now at the 13, 14, he's playing against some guys that at 14 are like men and he's getting pushed around a little bit. So now he is wanting to lift weights. Just today we had the conversation, why can't I have protein powder in my smoothies? He's like, can we get egg whites? So I'm going through this with him. My daughter at 19 is like, don't you let him do that. I've seen it. I see how it plays out with my friends' brothers. It's just as bad as it is for girls and blah, blah, blah. So I'm on that. But I'm like, Charlie, tall isn't better than short. You know what I mean? Like some of the best soccer players are fast and small. So like, where do we even put these judgments? Like, this is better than that. Tall is better than short. Let's be our best selves with what we have. So again, understanding our dosha, knowing who we are, what we came in with, that's unchangeable, like the length of our fingers, the shape of our eyeballs, the shape of our eyes, like the things that we will never be able to change. And then there's all the things that we can change. Like that's where we really need to be focusing. And I think it's really great that a lot of these conversations are out there and people are having these conversations now. And like I said, why I think the pendulum is swinging, like people are like, oh my God, I have to go inward. I have to put my blinders on. I have to decide for myself what's right. We really have to put ourselves under a microscope. And it's cool if we look at ourselves like beautiful, perfect little experiments running around. But just that awareness of like, I came in here as this whole, perfect, beautiful, not needing anything. I don't need a website. I don't need a bank account. I don't need anything. I don't need approval. I don't need a house in the hills. I don't need a trip. I am whole. Where am I out of balance right now? How do I bring myself back to who I really am? And that question of who am I? What do I need to be happy and healthy? My soul doesn't need any of that stuff.
Well, and I genuinely hope that this conversation for a lot of people will be a good first step in bringing that awareness to what might be missing, where am I feeling out of balance, and here's what I can do about it. And if someone wanted to explore more, Paula, with you on this, whether it's through the cleanse or just through resources that you have, where is the best place for people to go to find you? We'll link it in the show notes as well.
Sure. Just to get on my email list, I have Mind Body Bright Weekly Digest, which has kind of transformed from just a regular email to my digest, which it talks about a lot of different things that I bring in. And I love to bring in other women and highlight other people and things that other people are doing. And I do have my bigger program that'll be coming out later, but that's not really something that I'm linking to. So the best place is to get on my newsletter or follow me on Instagram. Okay. It's Mind Body Bright Glow is Soul. And I was going to share the dosha quiz, the link in the notes too, which is just a fun little interesting way to sort of see where you tend to go out of balance the most. And then there's a quick little guide that you can grab and that's filled with lots of good tips and ideas and sort of gives you a real understanding of the doshas and the elements and how we're a part of that bigger picture, right? We're a part of the universe. We're a part of the 5 elements and helping us get to know ourselves a little bit better.
Lovely. Well, I have so appreciated you coming on the podcast for these conversations. And I love that we were able to do 3 of them. So thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure.
Thanks for wandering with me today. If you were inspired by this episode and think it would ignite a spark in a friend, don't hesitate to share. And if you're craving more from the Wander Mode community, hop on over to Instagram at WanderModeCo. Meet you in the next episode, and until then, wander on.